Dan, don't you hate it on like YouTube, like shows or like all these new hip shows that are going? Like everyone, like all the announcers are like do this, like point, like,
yeah.
What's up, guys? Like, hey guys, like how's it going today, guys?
I think that's like a DJ thing, dude. Like, you know, you're in the DJ booth and you're pointing people out and you're like, hey, I see you in the crowd.
Yeah, but
I recognize you as a significant individual, but you don't.
I want to do you after the show.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. You're like, hot girl. Or
But in this situation, we're actually just pointing at ourselves.
we are just pointing at ourselves. I do me. Yes.
Welcome to episode 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
Episode 5.
We were gonna do like women in comics episode, but we couldn't get everyone together. We all have lives.
Yeah. So you guys are just gonna have to sit tight and wait for that because you know what? It's gonna friggin' rock. And we look forward to bringing it to you.
It's gonna be one of those like serious episodes where we actually discuss a legitimate thing.
Yeah. Today we're not gonna do that at all.
No.
Well, if you think comics are legitimate, and I definitely do.
They're legitimate.
They're totally legit.
They're legit.
They're too legit to quit.
They are not quitting
No.
anytime soon. In fact,
No.
they're just taking over slowly.
Yeah. So, without further ado, today we're just going to talk a bit about comics that we love. It's a special. It's our Classic Corner special where we're going to discuss nothing but classics. There's going to be no hate today. There's going to be no...
Oh, yeah, we're not going to hate on anything today.
Yeah, we're not going to shame anyone.
We probably will, though.
Maybe ourselves.
Yeah, we deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not like IDW deserves it.
No, you guys still suck.
My God.
You're horrible. Anyways, yeah, so we have some totally rad comics we want to talk to you about today, and without further ado, Calan, you want to kick us off?
I'll kick it off. Soccer season.
Oh, yeah.
So that's our little pun joke. There will be no more.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to discuss, probably, I'm going to say one of my favorite comics of all time, Calan and Dan.
One of the most badass comics ever.
Yeah, look how thick this thing is. Like, this is artist, writer, creator, all the same guy. And these individuals tend to put out big books like this because they just fall in love with their story and they live in their world that they're creating, and they sit there and they draw and write their masterpieces day and night, and they live it, and that's what makes this thing, like other comics from creator artist individuals, which makes is what makes this comic so good. I was actually introduced to Calan and Dan through the animation, so I'm kind of a noob. The animation, I saw it in like HMV. It looked sweet. I bought it. I watched it, and like I cried at the end of that.
It's a very emotional story.
Yeah.
And like this is like the animation is one of the cool cases where you have an excellent adaptation of the comic or the manga.
Yeah, and so I picked up I found the comic eventually at it was actually Phoenix Comics on 17th Ave here in Calgary. And I was like, holy shit, like there it is. And I was like, holy shit, look how big it is. So, and I read it, and like just the way they matched up the art style from the comic to the animation. And there's kind of like one school that like that animation company, they did a series in that Batman animation that came out a while ago.
Are you talking about Studio Ghibli?
I think that's who it is.
Yeah, like the really famous like Japanese style of animation almost.
This one's kind of like more new school. Remember the Calan and Dan style and the animation, and then in that new Batman came up where it was like the Dark Knight, like a series of animations.
Yeah,
they did the one at the beginning where it's like the kids skateboarding.
Oh, that was them.
Yeah, that was them. You can tell now by the style, right?
Yeah.
So their style just works so perfectly for this comic, because it's like the exact same. It's ridiculous. Anyway, like, but it's not. There's big differences. Yeah, the animation captured the comic really well. But what we're talking about is the comic, and it's all black and white, and it's so dynamic, and the art's just it's breathtaking. You know, it's there's no shading in it. It's all crisp lines. It's all black and whites. It's very which is funny because the main character's name are black and white.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing, definitely the artistic style stands out, but also the storytelling for Tekken King.
Yeah, we should get into that.
Yeah, because it's so layered, and you have so many interesting dynamic characters in there. They're just so many cool little subplots going on, and it really just pulls you in.
Yeah, so it's these two kind of street kids who live in a futuristic Japan kind of, you know, Neo-Tokyo type of world, but they're in the ghetto, and they, you know, one kid's name is White, and the other kid's name is Black. I believe they're brothers or best friends. They don't really... Actually, you know, they probably do tell if they're brothers or best friends. I can't remember, but...
They're brothers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think White might actually even be a girl.
Yeah.
They don't really talk about that. But anyway, and they kind of rule this certain block in this ghetto through, you know, force. They, you know, steal and you know, ruin people's days. But at the same time, they're just two kids who have not been brought up by, you know, legitimate means. They've been brought up on the streets, and they've survived through, you know, just being that way, just being hard individuals. White's kind of a super juvenile, almost like, is he all there type of thing, you know, and Black is kind of the big brother who's taking care of the two of them and making it happen. But halfway through the comic, kind of Black starts losing his mind because it's just too much for a child to bear, you know. And these you know, the Yakuza comes in. They actually face the Yakuza. Black actually beats the shit out of a whole room full of Yakuza
there's like
with a
6
metal pipe.
There's 6 of them, and he just takes a metal pipe and tunes them.
Yeah,
like no chance.
Just through a window, and he just busts through a window, and he gets beat up too. Like, it's not like, you know, kid comes out unscathed or anything, but yeah, and he slowly goes crazy. Anyway, he slowly goes crazy, and he deals with that whole deal, and starts actually becoming slightly murderous, and it's their trip through just
it's
through
their
madness, and
it's their struggle to survive through an insane situation.
And a changing, altering city around them, which you know they've grown up to become a part of. Yeah, it's a deep story. There's a lot of you know, topics in there that are you know, real modern day topics that should be discussed, like you know, troubled youth and homelessness and
mental health, even
mental health, and then developers in the city thinking they rule everything, and gang warfare, and it's really realistic, and it's deep, but it's also super fun and really entertaining, and it is positive in you know, in the end, I guess, you know.
Well, I don't know if I may pipe in, like the thing that caught me, like when you first lent Tekken King Creed to me and I first read it, was that you really get a feel for the love that the two main characters, that Black and White, have for each other, and you take that in and you empathize with them, and you can feel that love and that bond.
They're all that each other have. They're all that, you know.
Yeah, and just it ties you into the comics so well, and it's just really well put together, and it's not heavy-handed. It's not sentimental. It's honest. It's gritty, and it's raw.
Yeah, it's super raw. It's a super raw comic.
Yeah,
and it's delivered. Couldn't have been delivered any better.
Yeah,
by anyone else.
No.
This is a masterpiece. You'd be stupid not to read it. Check out the animation and check out the comic too. Tekken King Creed rules. Let's give a shout out to who did it all here.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It's like a Japanese name, man. Taiyo Matsumoto. I think Matsumoto I can pronounce. But the first name is like Taiyo. If you're listening, dude, thanks, man. Good work. I can't wait to see your next one if you do another one. I don't know how you could top this.
Yeah. Masterpiece.
So,
if I may continue, I wanted to talk with you guys today about a comic that's a little bit lighter and is also kind of current and relevant. A lot of you guys are familiar with the CW show Arrow, that I think is in its second season now. It follows the Green Arrow and kind of the origin story of the Green Arrow.
I'm interested to know what you think of that show.
It's pretty entertaining. It's okay.
Deathstroke's pretty badass.
Deathstroke is really badass.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Anyway.
But anyway, I think, what some of our viewers may not know is that this kind of Green Arrow revival actually started quite a while ago with Kevin Smith, who is the famed, writer and director of Clerks and Mallrats and Dogma.
Clerks 2.
Clerks 2, man. So he, a while ago, let me actually look at when this came out. 2002. So about 12 years ago, he came out with Green Arrow Quiver, and he revived the Green Arrow. Previously, the Green Arrow was actually dead in the DC universe. He died disarming a nuclear bomb on a plane or something like that in a Justice League issue.
Did he succeed?
Yeah, but he killed him.
Yeah.
Which, it happens. Anyways, in the great tradition of DC never leaving the dead alone, we revived the Green Arrow.
Oh, yeah.
And Oliver Queen, who you may not know, or Oliver Queen, pardon me, not Quinn. What am I talking about here? Anyways, particularly the first trade. So that's collectors, I believe, 1 through 10, written by Kevin Smith, and just absolutely awesome. Great series. It starts off with Queen being revived from the dead, not really knowing his name, and gradually figuring out who he is while there's kind of a murder mystery story going on here. The thing I like about Green Arrow Quiver is that it's fun. It's a romp. Green Arrow is not the most original character. He's basically modern day Robin Hood, right?
Yeah.
And he's got some similarities to Batman. He's almost an anti-Batman in some ways. Where Batman is this large business magnate who focuses mainly on taking down common criminals. Green Arrow, while also being very wealthy, focuses more kind of on the social justice piece and taking down corrupt fat cats, polluters, things like that.
No, it's great. He also runs that place for like homeless kids and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. He does. He takes his wealth and he runs a youth center.
What better to do? That's like real superhero shit right there.
Yeah, this is not just his night job. He does this shit 24/7.
Yeah.
And the great thing about Green Arrow is that it's so much fun to read. There's lots of action in it. There's lots of kind of, like in Kevin Smith's style, kind of cheeky sexuality, but not kind of in a demeaning way.
Yeah.
And between the Green Arrow and the Black Canary.
Yeah.
And part of the reason that I really have an attachment to this comic, Green Arrow is my favorite superhero. If you guys can't see, I got my Green Arrow t-shirt
Where's
on.
your Green Arrow action figures?
He is packed away in a box right now, fortunately.
Mm.
I should have brought him out. I just remember that I had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should probably bust that out sometime. Next episode, maybe.
Next episode. But yeah. And this was also, for me, this was the trade that got me kind of more seriously into collecting comics. This was the trade.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
I remember when you bought that.
Yeah.
I saw a glitter in your eyes.
That there was like a change there.
Yeah, there was a change.
That happened.
It happened.
And that's when I started seriously collecting trades, and it's just it really had an impact on me. If you guys are a fan of the show and you want to read, just a fun comic, definitely check this out. I won't talk too much more about it, but one thing I want to bring up is this is kind of like an anomaly for me. So, when the trades had their original run, I believe the 4th issue of the trade was called Straight Shooter. It was written by Judd Winnick. Kevin Smith had stopped writing it, I believe, after the second trade had come out. Okay? So trade number 4 was written by Judd Winnick. It was called Straight Shooter. And I have not been able to find a copy of it anywhere. As nearly as I can tell, it is out of print.
Yeah.
If you can tell now, so I've got trades 4 and 3, but they're actually the same comic. They're both Archer's Quest. And so we've got the hardcover edition here that I think was 3 or 5. It wasn't 4. And this guy came out when I bought it, I thought that I had found number 4, and stupid me, I didn't read the cover, and it was Archer's Quest again, which I had already owned.
I remember when that happened in the shop.
Yeah.
And I remember the shop owner almost didn't even want to sell it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was looking for it, and long story short, I cannot find Straight Shooter anywhere. So if you guys know anybody that has a copy for it, I've been searching over at the Calgary Comic Expo every year. I look for this. I've been looking online. I cannot find it.
We tried ordering it at the shops. It's nowhere.
Yeah, it's nowhere. I know it's out there. I've seen the cover.
So if you guys got one, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah. That was enthusiastic.
That was good, hey?
Yeah.
I'm the next MTV VJ.
Jesus, I hope not.
Yeah.
Do I get to kick you in the nuts if that happens?
Yes. But I will be rich, and I will laugh at you.
You won't be that rich.
Yeah, I guess maybe not.
Yeah.
That would be a celebrity. I just kind of think that if you're on TV and you're famous, that just goes along with lots of money.
No.
No?
No, not anymore. Yeah. Well, sometimes, if you play it right.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't.
Maybe you would. Maybe you would.
I'm broke, you guys. Can you lend me some money?
Calan needs half a sandwich and a 40, folks.
What do we got next here?
Battling Boy.
We're going to talk about someone who's been kind of rocking the comic book world for a while.
Paul Pope.
Paul Pope.
Paul Pope.
Paul Pope. The Pope.
The Pope star.
That's what I do. I walk into the comic store and I go, "Where's the Pope at?"
And then they just look really confused until we kind of explain that's Paul Pope.
Yeah, try that at the Vatican, maybe.
Oh yeah, what up, Pope?
That
might work with this Pope actually. He seems more approachable.
he seems like a pretty hip dude.
Yeah, he seems okay.
He's like, "What's up, Christians? How you guys doing? Yeah. I'm the Pope. I'm listening.
What up?"
Paul Pope is he's like an indie guy. He seems to put out comics for with all different types of publishers. So he's kind of just doing what he wants. I really like that. I don't like Paul Pope because he's more handsome than I am. Have you seen a picture of this guy?
No.
He is just
is
every
he gorgeous?
woman's wet dream.
Really?
Yeah.
He writes comics. He's got to be. What woman doesn't want a comic writer?
He looks like Buddy from The Crow, like when he's not the
Crow.
Oh,
like Brandon Lee without the makeup.
Yeah.
That's an attractive man.
Very attractive man.
So
that's what made me stop liking Paul Pope. But
jealousy?
Sheer jealousy. Yeah. For the most horrible reasons. Anyway, Paul Pope just recently put out Battling Boy, and it's fucking awesome. Yeah, It's super fun. It's super imaginative. He just it almost just seems like a stream of consciousness. He just kind of came up with it, did it, and I think he's kind of like the Beatles. He could just kind of do whatever he wants, and then some publisher will just put it out.
Oh, like another Paul we might know, like Paul McCartney.
Yeah, there's
except Wings
Pauls.
is terrible.
Huh?
Paul McCartney's banned after.
Oh yeah, people think Paul McCartney's dead, and he's got
I was
double.
reading about. Okay, time out for a second. Can we just talk about the theory of the two Pauls for a second?
Let's make it quick.
I want to throw this out there. I've been reading about this on the internet. It's possible. There could be two Paul McCartneys out there.
Well, one would be dead.
Okay, yeah. There could have... There's new Paul...
Perhaps every lifetime, it's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Once one dies, another one gets made.
What if it's like a Highlander situation?
Could be... Ooh!
Where every...
There can only be one Paul McCartney.
That's right. Every 100 years, a new Paul McCartney is chosen. And the old Paul McCartney has to battle...
Yeah.
people vying to become Paul McCartney, and if you kill the current Paul McCartney, you become the new Paul McCartney.
You know what we should do for for this episode is who would win in a fight is Paul McCartney versus Paul McCartney.
We won't do that, though.
No.
Sorry.
You would win, Paul McCartney. Anyway, this comic's awesome. Paul Pope, it's all colored in here, which is nice to see Paul Pope's work colored. It's normally black and white, or at least the stuff that I've read. Yeah. It's full of flavor. You haven't read it yet. You're excited to read it. I like the size of it. It's not comic book size. This guy's just breaking all the rules. I love that.
Zine-sized.
It's zine-sized.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's great. He's doing what he wants. Anyway, it's kind of it's almost like as if Thor had a kid, and then that kid, this comic would follow that kid through, his adventures saving the planet from monsters and stuff. It's super fun.
Pardon my rage, buddy.
Yeah. I read it. I loved it. I want to read the next one. It actually kind of progresses rather slowly. Yeah, so that's kind of a shame. The action scenes are cool. This kid gets superpowers with every t-shirt he puts on.
Oh.
It's very fun.
Oh, isn't that like every teenager's dream? You have a secret powerful
I would love to read this when I was a teenager. This is very melancholy kind of comic. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it's super fun, and it looks like Paul Pope had a lot of fun making it. And, I don't know. Let's talk about Paul Pope.
Well, also, I think the other thing that maybe our viewers should check out if they haven't had the opportunity, also for Paul Pope, is Liquid Metal.
Yeah, yes, Liquid Metal.
Liquid Metal is got to be one of the most offbeat, bizarre, wonderful comics that I have ever read. Just in terms of the animation style, the universe it's set in, which again. In case you guys haven't figured out, we really like dystopian future type stuff.
Yeah.
And it's set in this weird future punk world where these kind
of like downtown New York.
Yeah, we're basically these three crackheads.
Yeah.
Essentially steal this super high tech
drug
and
that gets you crazy high
and gives you superpowers.
Yeah, it kind of gives you superpowers, and then, it's kind of the journey to figure out what the hell this stuff is, and then you kind of find out at the end, that's not even a drug, that's, it's wild, and people are after them, and they're chasing them through the streets.
And it's just disoriented, and freaky, and,
It would be a really good movie.
It would be, but,
cast Keanu Reeves in that.
No. Don't cast Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. I could just see Keanu Reeves. He's just so bad.
He's so bad he's good?
No.
Man of Tai Chi was pretty cool.
I haven't seen that yet. I was going to watch that on Netflix, but my Netflix wasn't working that day.
Oh. Check out Man of Tai Chi.
Anyway, let's keep going. We're probably taking too long here. Paul Pope's awesome. That's his new comics, Battling Boy.
Yeah.
Pick it up. It's fun. It was kind of expensive, though. It was like $20 for this.
But it's worth it. Check it out.
Yeah, it's worth $20.
Yeah.
That comic's worth $20, you guys.
That's right. And then he touched it, and now it's worth $17.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I also spilled something on it.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I think it was watermelon.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like to eat watermelon when I read my comic books. Terrible idea.
Shameful.
1 rum and Coke, 1 piece of watermelon, comic book.
Doesn't work.
What's going on here?
Yeah. So, to finish off our classics episode, I want to tell you about one of my favorite comics.
Man.
As I mentioned to you guys before, I love crime fiction. I love comic crime fiction.
And I don't really, but this is also one of my favorite series of all time.
And this is one of my all-time favorite series, Scalped. Written by Jason Aaron. He's done some work with Marvel. Usually does pretty hard-edged stuff. And R.M. Guerra is the artist. And part of what... I just want to talk about R.M. Guerra's work here because he works...
He's the artist, right?
Yeah, he does the art throughout the series. Man. And what's so cool about it, I hopefully will take some pictures and we can show you, but is the pencil etching that he does. And the thing that's so unique about his style is that it's all pencil etched, pretty much. And
it's so realistic. Like, his facial expressions.
Yeah.
Like, there's no hoity-toity, like, there's no cartoonness. There's no superhero. Everyone's perfect. It's like so fucking real and so raw, man.
Yeah. And the way he draws anatomy, movement, fight scenes.
And different races.
Like,
how can you draw, like, it's hard to draw a native person from a, I'm not trying to be racist, but, like, a native person from a white person to a, black person to a
like
Chinese person.
To, like, an Asian person, yeah.
Yeah.
And he splits it up there.
Oh,
and you see it throughout the series. He's just perfect at capturing the human face, human emotions. He's...
Mood.
I think he's one of the hottest artists in the game out there.
Yeah, I agree. That comic is like, I couldn't believe it, man.
I think he's almost on par with Carlos Esquera.
What did he do?
Or no, Juan Jose Ripe for...
Juan Jose Ripe, and then Buddy Fu did the Joker.
Yeah.
Who was he again? That Spanish guy.
Oh, I'm forgetting.
That guy was crazy good, too.
Yeah, he was.
But anyway,
so just in a nutshell, Scalped is a crime drama set on the Lakota Prairie Rose Reservation in South Dakota. For those of you guys who don't know about this sort of thing, generally speaking, this area of the world is thought of as being super poor, super corrupt, lots of substance use, lots of just corruption and despair, and just a really gritty ghetto set.
High suicide rates, crime rates, just
gangs everywhere. Yeah. And this story is set within that setting, and it's about a guy that returns to his reservation and is basically just a total badass. And it's... I don't want to give too much away, but it's basically about the main character, Dashiell Badhorse, returning to his homeland and wrestling with his identity and who he is and what it means for him to serve his people or to serve himself.
And he's also got kind of a weight on his shoulders because his family or his mother is kind of almost trying to be like the leader of the reservation, and but
and it's a really well-layered story. It's beautifully written. It keeps you on your toes. I mean, there are points when I would put one of these down and I would be just fiending for the next one.
Yeah. The thing is, with the way this comic is delivered, writing style is like holy fucking cliffhangers, man. Mm-hmm. Almost every page is just like, what? Like, no way. And it's definitely every issue and every trade is just like, oh, like, no way.
Yeah.
Like, it is such an evolving, such a twisted network of storylines and just crazy shit happening. And, it goes into the past and into the future. Yeah. Like, I can't believe he fucking wrote that.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
That is so good.
It's beautifully put together. And, the good thing about it, too, is a lot of comics in this sort of genre, they attempt this type of writing, right? And it gets mired down in drama or character building, and it just gets slow, and you're just like...
Or, too much character building.
And it's just constipated. And the nice thing about Scalped is that there is a great balance of action and story.
Yeah.
So that you don't really get bored with it. And so much stuff changes throughout the course of the 10 trades that are out there. And it's only 10 trades. The great thing about this is it does have an end.
They ended it. Yeah.
They for sure ended it.
Like, holy fuck, did they end it?
I know, right? That's pretty... It's got a metal ending, guys.
The whole thing is just metal. And I think, like, how hard would it be to write something about a story about an Indian reserve, just because that kind of culture in that world is so removed from us. Like, where do you even find not only the maybe the inspirations there, but where do you find the knowledge and the
source material,
concise source material to put this together? But it is like I mean, I don't know. I've never lived on an Indian reserve, but it is pretty fucking it's not
in depth.
Yeah,
and it's raw.
I think if any of our viewers out there are Native American, read this and let us know. Like, is it pretty?
Is it accurate?
Is it accurate?
Is it over the top? Does it not go far enough? Like, let us know your perspective.
Yeah, please.
Because from our background, I mean, we feel like this is a pretty raw tale that also tries to capture some humanity at the same time.
Well, and just the culture, just the native culture. Like, it's not all about, you live on a reserve and it's shit,
No, but it's like, also capturing the beauty of the culture and capturing
exactly
the knowledge passed down from elders as well. And it's
yeah,
it's almost like a holistic snapshot.
Yeah. Well, and the reasons why they're in that situation, know, and it's and you feel so sorry for some of these characters and just the kids, like, oh man, there are so many.
Yeah,
man, this comic is so raw. It's so real. I'm almost like I'm speechless talking about it.
Definitely check this out. There's 10 trades out there. It's still in print.
Yeah.
Scalped. Writers Jason Aaron, artist Aram Guerra. It's published by Vertigo. Great buy. You can still get it for a reasonable value. Pick it up.
Yeah.
Totally.
And if you guys are watching, those who created the comic, who is it again?
Jason Aaron and Aram Guerra, you guys created a masterpiece.
That was another masterpiece.
That's fantastic.
Oh, man.
It rocked. Totally. So, at the end of our show, we wanted to cover who would win in a fight.
Yeah.
Last episode, we were talking about Wolverine versus Spawn. And this is a tricky one. Calan?
I've been thinking, like, we haven't done an episode in, 3 weeks or whatever. And I've been mulling this over in my head for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
At least once or twice daily.
Mm-hmm.
And, fuck, I don't know.
Well, it's tough because, okay, on the one hand, when you read Spawn comics, at least before he becomes the head of hell or whatever.
Yeah.
Spawn...
Yeah, we're talking Al Simmons Spawn here. We're not talking next gen Spawn. We're talking Al Simmons, issues 1 to 99.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not. He gets pretty powerful. Near the end, he gets, the power of the earth and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe, let's talk, early Spawn. Like, issue 1 to, 20-ish. That kind of Spawn.
Yeah. And... the thing about Spawn is that he can take a beating.
Oh, man. He can get his arm ripped. He's got his arm ripped off.
Yeah.
Hole through the chest.
And it all regenerates because of the cloak, right?
It regenerates. I can't remember. He can't be decapitated. I know
that's the big thing. He can't be decapitated.
But you would think the same goes for Wolverine, but I think he can be.
He has.
Yeah.
He has been decapitated. Oh. But the thing... with Wolverine too, is that no matter how much he regenerates and everything, he's a mortal man, and he, eventually someday he will die, right?
Yeah, he gets older.
And the other thing too, I was thinking hard about this. Spawn, I think, is more intelligent than Wolverine. Logan, I gotta be honest with you.
Spawn he's only got one lifetime of military experience. Yeah. And then he died, went to hell for 5 years. The cool thing about these two is they both have mad memory lapse. Mm-hmm. Like, Spawn doesn't even know he has to learn who he is again.
Yeah, Wolverine does too.
Yeah. I almost think they would end up being buddy-buddy. They both drink a lot. Mm-hmm. Especially the early Spawn. He's always getting wasted in the alleys.
Yeah.
They might even just kick back and be like, fuck this.
Call it a draw? Make them friends?
I don't want to call it a draw, but honestly, you guys, I think it would be a draw. I think they would end up just shooting this shit over a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I gotta agree. I think they would slug it out for a while, and, they might tear each other up a bit.
But they'd end up just being like, I can't do this. I can't beat this guy up.
Yeah, I think they would get tired.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I think, it'd be like one of those things where, it's like a barroom brawl or whatever. And you see this a lot of time with drunk guys where they beat the crap out of each other, and at the end they're drinking at the bar together.
Yeah. This is our first draw, you guys.
Yeah.
Spawn versus Wolverine. Let us know if you think it'd be a draw or who would win.
Yeah.
Think about the logistics. Don't be like, oh, I like Spawn better, so Spawn would win. Or, oh, I like, Wolverine better, so Wolverine would win.
Yeah.
No, think about the logistics of this. And if you haven't read Spawn, read Spawn.
Oh, yeah.
And
we totally read Spawn.
We all know Wolverine, but Spawn, Todd McFarlane, that's our boy. That's Image Comics right there.
Calgary!
You did.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's what? He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Todd McFarlane's.
Yeah.
I hope he watches this show one day.
I do too. And I hope he doesn't send us hate mail. So for next episode, I want you guys to consider, and we'll bring this up next time. Hopefully we're going to get back to getting our episodes a little bit closer together here. But consider Lobo versus Hulk.
Yeah, so we were thinking,
yeah,
is who could Hulk even fight that would even be a match, other than some of these giant, Galactus or something.
Yeah.
But, and just off the top of my head, I figured Lobo.
Yeah. I think
because you all know Lobo, and he kills a lot of things.
He killed Superman.
He killed his whole planet, didn't he? I think he also went to hell and got kicked out, and he killed God.
Lobo's metal.
Yeah. What's his race again?
I don't even remember, man.
It's like Sandarian or something.
We're going to have to do some research on Lobo. But guys, let us know what you think. Until next time, we look forward to hearing your feedback and comments as always. Thank you for watching. If you just pick up one of the comics we were talking about today, I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. Right.
No, you won't be.
Yeah.
And if you do pick them up, read them and let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. See you next episode. Women in Comics next episode.
Yeah. And not just talking about it in a sexist fashion.
This will be a non-sexist fashion.
We'll have real women.
At the show. Yeah, we're going to have guests.
We're going to have guests.
That's going to be our first guest
Surprise
episode.
guests. Woo!
All right, see you guys.
See you guys. Bye.